This is Jack Stanley.
I'm Joseph DeStefano.
And we're sitting here talking about collectors and people who collect records and phonographs and trying to figure out how the whole disease started. And, you know, Joseph here is a new collector, and I'd like to find out what makes you tick. What caused everything to happen?
What brought me into it? Well, let's go all the way back.
Okay.
When I was about 4 years old, I was first embarking on reading on my own. I had uncovered a book about the Titanic at the local library. And this was one of those great big books with all the pictures and diagrams inside of how it would have looked inside and the pictures and recreations. And I was deeply fascinated by it. I didn't consider it as old. I considered it as something new to me. So I got into that and music of the era, and I just really tried to immerse myself. And then I found Thomas Edison. And we're going to fast forward a little bit because I fell out of it for quite some time. And I became very infatuated with the piano maybe about 7 or 8 years ago. And I started getting really invested in acoustic music and the qualities of acoustic music. And that's when I started to learn the physics and the mechanics of the Victrola and acoustic sound. And I decided that that was the type of music for me. And I bought my first Victrola about 5 years back, and it has been going strong ever since.
Wonderful. The disease progressed.
Yes, it does. The prognosis is not light.
Well, you know, the whole thing is, it's kind of fascinating. You have a very unique proclivity in the sense of recording. You like the music of the age of vaudeville, World War I.
Yes, I do.
Which is very unique. You know, it's kind of fascinating. And it's wonderful to see somebody that, you know, wonderful to see somebody who likes this kind of stuff. What do people your age, you're in college.
Yes, I am.
What do people in college think of your
proclivity,
if I can use that word?
You know, I have never really been met with any kind of negative interaction. If anything, people are a little bit ambivalent towards it. They don't really care.
Yeah,
I've had some friends.
Shock.
I've had some friends that are in shock. The majority of them do sit down and listen to the music with me because I have a Victrola 6 in my apartment, and I'll put on music sometimes. I actually have one friend who she was deeply amused by the music. She really did enjoy it, and some of the people really are. And I think if you really love music, you can really find the root and basis of what is we get from the modern world in music of that era.
It's interesting, you know, in your age group, you know, like you are starting to collect, and many of us have been doing it for quite a while.
Absolutely.
Us dinosaurs, and you're keeping this whole hobby alive, which is a wonderful thing to see. It's fascinating to talk to somebody your age and say Henry Burr, and you go, "Oh, Henry Burr."
Henry Burr, absolutely.
You know what I'm talking about.
Very funny, actually. I was talking to a young lady who I just met, who we had mutual friends, and we were talking about obsolete dances. And I was mentioning a poster that I had saw in Old City on First Friday, because they had First Friday of the month, they have art galleries open. And there was this poster from about 1895, and it was one of those ballroom list of dances done at a New Year's party. And one of the dances was called the Academy Shuffle. And I thought that was so funny, because who the hell knows what the Academy Shuffle is? Have you ever heard of the I've never heard of the Academy Shuffle. Is it a two-step? What is it? I don't know. So I had brought this up while we were eating, and this girl said to me, "Oh, is that like the Varsity Drag?" And I kind of like, "What do you mean the Varsity Drag? Are you you mean the Varsity Drag?" And she had known what it was. So, you know, it's not as obscure as we might think.
It's reassuring.
Absolutely.
Reassuring to see such things, and I know you're adding to your collection, and you're at the hungry stage.
Yes.
Everything is wonderful.
Oh, the world's an oyster.
And I know our time is short, and I realize that, and I'd love to spend more time talking to you.
Absolutely.
Just a question for you. How do your parents... Are your parents in music? Did they have anything to do with it?
My father plays the accordion.
Okay.
My grandfather was really into music. I would say my parents like music. Neither of them are interested in the music of my era. I would actually say the music that I like is older than my grandparents. And my oldest grandparent, if he was alive, would have been 97 right now. So, I mean...
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of was a little bit of a black sheep in that effect. Not many people like what I do, but it's all right.
It's good to be a black sheep.
Oh, yes, we know.
You know something? It's far better to be... There's an old song, They're All Out of Step with Jim.
Oh, yes, I am, yeah.
I like Jim.
Yeah.
If you think about it, because Jim's different.
Jim's in step.
And so good for you. Congratulations. It's a pleasure speaking with you.
Oh, absolutely, Jack.
And let's
Thank you
talk
for having
more.
me.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Thank you. All right. And I have to turn this thing off.
Good night.
Okay.